This is what we get, Teresa. This is 2-second exposure, but here's what we need to do. We need to increase the brightness. You still see the two nuclei. Don't forget, M51 is very low. It's about 25 degrees, and it's towards where the sun is going down at the moment, so it's certainly not the best. Here, let me bring up the contrast a little bit, and you can actually see a little bit of spiral in there, and that's at 2 seconds. If I adjust the video mode, the brightness and the contrast for me are very, very important, and this is something that's going to be looked at. So this is 128x only, and we're gonna bring this up to 15 seconds, single frame, and of course we're going to see the blue sky, the lovely blue sky that we have because of the sun. And here it is. For that, we're going to lower the sharpness level, and there we go. Your rings are minimal, and we've got a really nice view. Now, what we need to do is this. Lower the brightness of the capture device. Hey, look at that. That's gorgeous. This is nice. This is 15 seconds only. That's quite remarkable to look at. Well, yes, it is. Considering where the target is, it's about 25 degrees or so. I quickly put my hands in front of and checked out where this is. So it's pretty well what it is. Now, hang on a sec. We're going to lower the APC on the camera. And this is to get the stars a little bit smoother. But we're going to lose a bit of sharpness on the image. And while we lower the APC on the camera, we're going to increase the sharpness on the frame grabber. So we're going to gain back our stars a little bit here. The sharpness, there we go. Now we can go with a much longer exposure, but you don't need to. And 51's a fairly big object as well. We see the bridge here connecting from one side to the other. I hope you folks see that as good as what I see it here. And I'm going to attempt to go a little bit longer exposure. For that, we don't have to stop it. I should have kept going. And this is what I like about the software is, let's say if you got a 15 seconds, you want to increase exposure. You can do it while the exposure is running. So I stopped it instead of. I shouldn't have. I should have just I kept going. Here comes a 20-second exposure here, and there's not much of a difference, as you can tell. I don't find there is a big difference at all. The AGC's turned off, so the APC right now is set at 0 for H gain, which is horizontal gain. Vertical gain's at 1. Now, watch what's going to happen if we increase this to 5. Watch that, Teresa. We're going to put this at 5 on both. Now, if you see the star's going to have a little bit of halo around them, that is to prevent blooming. But look at the galaxy itself, how much sharper it became. Now you can see actual structure in the lane. This is when the dust lane. This is when you're going to use the APC to your advantages. It's just by increasing the APC a little bit. You want to get that extra detail in there. And now we could increase also the sharpness. Here's another satellite going by our lower left. Well, here's the trick to avoid that, because we got a blue sky, it's going to be difficult. You lower the brightness of your capture device down to the level of the blackness around the stars. Once you do that, you have basically adjusted your background exactly where they should be at. But because I have blue skies, it's a bit difficult to show you. If we go to another target towards east or southeast, I would be able to show you much better. We're going to increase the contrast. The contrast plays a major role. There we go. Contrast is about 55 right now, using the MCB1. That's all what I'm using. You should be able to get something very similar, Connie, with your setup. Of course, you can increase the brightness. It's going to make it look ugly. That's okay. Bring it down too dark? No, that's not it. If you pay attention to the brighter star, you got this black halo around it because I turned up the APC. If I turn the APC down, we're going to lose that or reduce that quite a lot. But I like to have those halo because it will form a black circle preventing the star from going blooming. In other words, overexposed. However, you get to adjust your background that way. And under the same color as what those black circles are. If you do that, you're going to null out. You're going to cancel it out. Here's another thing. I'm running the camera at gamma 045. And what we could do is switch to gamma 1. But we lost the object, right? Well, turn up that brightness. You're going to gain it back. Here it is. And if you pay attention, those halo around the stars are far, far less prominent. So it's just a question of balancing it out. What I like about true video CCD cameras, the amount of adjustment you have is remarkable. I mean, yes, there is. I agree with you, Connie. It'll depend basically which target, which object you got to look at. But you got to go back to your brightness and contrast all the time. That's what makes your image successful. Here's 045, okay, but we got to come to the brightness side on the video tab, lower it down and try to match it up. Now here's one thing that we did not notice. Let's go back to gamma 1 quickly. Turn off that gain. We can't get nearly as good at AGC, not AGC, at gamma 1. But the brightness is going to be more critical to adjust. As you can see, we still have blue skies. So we got to wait for that until it gets completely dark. Here's gamma 045. You want to pull details? That's the way to go. There you go. The image itself, the target itself is going to be much brighter. And you get to see some very, very nice detail in the dust lane structure. Good evening, Bill. Thank you for stopping by. And now, Teresa, if you, let's go back to the APC gain that you were asking about. Watch this. Watch the, just watch the dust lane in M51. The APC's at 5. Let's make this really, really ugly. We're going to put this at 13 and 13. Watch what's going to happen. The dust lanes are going to really come out. The details are really going to come out well. But the stars are going to get a lot bigger, as you can see, brighter, sharper. And sometimes the APC set too high will distort the image. So I usually use it at 5 or 8. So let's go down to 8. Okay, this is 8. So now the stars have different densities in the background. Some are a little bit bigger, brighter. Some are fainter and smaller. That's what we want. We've got the balance here. The dynamic range well balanced. One of the positions that I like a lot is either 0 or 5. So I'm going to put this back at 5. Like the way we had it. acceptable, very, very nice. Stars are good, everything is good. Hey, good evening to Will. Nice to see you on. At the moment, both of them at 5. That's correct. The APC's at 5. That's pretty well where I'm going to start. But if you are really picky for stars and things like this, you put the horizontal, the H gain to 0, which I'm about to do, but watch the stars. All right, there we go. And we're going to put the vertical gain at 1 because the pixels are rectangular. They're a little bit longer, right, left to right. We need to compensate for that. Here's what the APC does. Observe the stars, any stars, brighter ones if you wish, and watch what's going to happen. Teresa, if you look at that, right now they're at 0 and 1. I'm going to put the vertical way up. Watch what's going to happen to the stars. That's what I like about a true video camera. The possibility to adjust your image are endless. So, let's go up, go up. Watch what's going to happen to the stars. You're going to say, my goodness, what is this? See, they're flat. They're getting bigger, and they're flat. They're horizontal. And look at the center of the galaxy. It's all distorted. But boy, can you ever see a lot of detail in there. Now that we've done that, let's go back to 1. Here, the stars are back pretty well to normal. Let's go to the horizontal now. We're going to put this to 16. That's the limit. Now the stars are vertical. If you look at it, stars are vertical. So you can actually change. You can actually change the shape of the stars. But you want to keep that mode down. So horizontal's at 0, vertical's at 1. You're going to get good stars, a good balance on everything. And if you need a little bit of sharpness added to your image, put it at 5 on each. No more. So doing with the Xterminator, you certainly can go much longer exposure if you wish, but you don't need to. I'm running this at 20 seconds maximum. I don't think so we need any more than that. You can, however, give a little bit more gain with the brightness and contrast, and you can lower it down all the way where you're losing the object. And this is done live instantly right away because it's post-process. This is the processing done at the frame grabber point of view, not at the camera. When you go on to the advanced tab and then you change APCs, the hyper mode or the white balance, you're dealing directly at the camera itself. But when you go into the video mode, it's post-processing. Has nothing to do with the camera. It has to do with the single manipulation only. I don't know if it's bright enough for you guys. I know my monitor here looks pretty good. It's decent. If we were using a black and white Xterminator, image would even be better than that. But color always, you're going to not lose. It's going to be harder to adjust. Much harder to adjust, I find, with colors. But once you've got it, you basically save it onto the camera, in the camera's memory, and they're there forever. So next time you boot that up and turn it back on, you're good to go. Here, just switch to ATW, which is auto trace white. So it's going to do the automatic white balance. And for that, of course, I'll need to go under the saturation and turn up to see some colors in the galaxy. And we're going to put back the saturation to default. There you go. But I like to keep the saturation down. It keeps the video color noise down a little bit. So I'm keeping it at about 23 at the moment. Switch back over to manual white balance, which I'm going to do in seconds. There we go. We're back to manual. And we still detect some pretty good colors in there. Well, this is the kind of things that you could do with that. You don't want to go too long in exposure. A lot of people like to go too long on exposure for no reasons at all. And they figure the longer the exposure, the better. Yes, it is. If you're guiding, yes. If you've got the mount for it that will track well, yes, it is. But with a true video CCD camera that has a BNC connector, has video output, it's not the case. You don't need to go extreme amount of exposure. The adjustment between, such as the video tab, brightness and contrast, are crucial. They are going to give you your last image, the tune-up that you need. Let me show you something, actually. Teresa, I hope you're watching this. What we're going to do is this. We're going to go under the video tab, and I'm going to set all the adjustment of the video tab. The video tab has the brightness, contrast, hue, saturation, and sharpness. I've got them adjusted for what I like on my screen here. I'm going to hit the button called default. It's going to put it back to default. Pay attention how ugly the image is going to become. You're going to say, hey, this is what I get on my results. Watch this. Here, this is default for the capture device. Sure, the camera sees everything else, but that's not a nice image. Yeah, that's what I say. Whoa. So, first thing, saturation defaults at 32. Bring that down to about 25, 23. Here's 23. Number 2, lower the brightness to get us a darker background. Number 3, go to contrast. Bring that up between 55 and 60. I got this at 56, close enough. Bring back down the brightness. There you go. Did you see that? This is as easy as it gets. That capture device, the MCV1, the final adjustment, it's post-processing. That's how easy it is to do. Well, let's do that again. We're going to repeat that again. Let's go to default on the capture device. This is under the video tab. Oh man, that sucks. That sure does. Okay, hang on. Saturation. I want to bring down the amount of color strength. That's what it does. I got it 22, 23, even 25. Hey, let's go 25 instead of. You won't see much of a difference right now, but you will when we bring down the other guys here. Okay, so brightness. Let's bring that down to get a somehow dark background. A little bit weaker on the Galaxy. Go to contrast, bring that up at between 55 and 63. And here's 55. Let's lower down the brightness from 94. We're going to go down a little bit more. Bingo, look at that. Brightness at 67 is your image. A lot of people say, oh, the camera doesn't work good. It shows crappy image. Yes, it does, because the final adjustment of the signal is not completed under the video tab, and you've got to have that.